There was Kenneth Orambo, a 45-year-old, and his children. There was Yusuf. There was Joanne and Jessica Orambo, who was 2.5 years. We were in contact with the family, Sarah and Jamal, after that incident. The other family was 2 people. There's a mother and a child. The mother is called Sylvia Akumu, and the child is Nelson, 2.5 years. Our team swung into action quite swiftly to solve, of course, issues of access, were a problem because of, the kind of informal settlement that we have there. And our deep condolences to those who lost loved ones. 6 people are 1 person too many to lose. We've given support. Those affected are currently at a hall nearby. We've been able to give food and material support. That is blankets, mattresses, and food stuff. And we're talking to the structure owners. These are tenants, but trying to see how to help them to reconstruct. And even with more training of, fast response. Because in as much as the nearest station would take them 8 or so minutes and they were there in less than 15, the fast responders normally are the young people around there. And we have a program of training young people across the city to be able to respond quickly. It is true there's this issue of state of roads, and which is why, we really implore upon the Senate. Even in as much as there's white smoke on the division of revenue, which we are not happy with as governors, there's the pending issue of RMLF. A lot of these roads, whose state has been raised, including Muratina, and Jogoro was on the news, and you see vehicles jumping off those potholes. People are not able to distinguish whose responsibility it is, because those are national roads under Kura. You find that when RMLF, which is a tax levied on everyone who uses fuel, the money is disbursed only to the national government, then counties are not able to maintain roads. Now, when you give this to members of parliament, for instance, which they do through KERA, we have Kenya rural roads doing roads in Nairobi, and this is an urban city. The prioritization of those roads is political. And so there is no MP who will put money on Jogo Road, because there are no votes there. They'll go put money, the MP for Westlands, for instance, will do Kangemi, he will not do Westlands Shopping Center. The MP for the Great North will not touch Yaya Center or Agwins Kotek, they'll go to Kawangware. And that is why, as governors, we're saying that a tax raised nationally by every taxpayer using county or national roads should therefore also be distributed by the ratio of county roads versus national roads. And the county roads are actually more than national roads. Some of the roads we've been able to do, including in Isili, Waudo Street, and a number of the avenues, was because we were able to get stuck RMLF from 2019 when we got into office, around 900 million or so that had been stuck during the previous regime because they diverted funds. I was able to get them and do many of the roads. If you go now to every ward in Nairobi, there are road projects going on through what we call our ward-based projects. We focus projects in every ward. The highest allocation previously, Senator, was 200 million in 2017-18. When I got into office the first year, we did 735 million worth of those roads. And this last year, we've done 950 million worth of those roads. So those are roads which are internal. Fortunately for us, Section 6 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act talks about infrastructure in the capital city and the need for a special arrangement between the national and county government. And we've been able to sit down with the national government and said, look, we need to prioritize certain roads, some which are under your purview, and extra support for those under our purview due to lack of the RMLF. And we've agreed on an initial 4 to 5 billion shillings that begins this December and in January. So that we can sort out those. There's the Chanias and the ones up market, but also down there. Remember there was around 2.1 billion worth of NMS projects that were stalled. And those went to the executive office of the president. I'm happy that we've gotten a commitment, but we want to push it because no county should beg for what is rightfully theirs. The number of road users we have in the city who are paying RMLF, if you have to georeference it, possibly 30 to 40% of the entire road maintenance levy fund is on Nairobi road users, yet the county is not getting that money. So Senator Sifuna, I'll look at the specific one, but I know that is part of the roads on our list that we're pushing to be done. As recently as actually this Monday, I sat with the CS Davis Future Kura Director General, Kenya as well. We've seen the mess here on Uhuru Highway and under the expressway. They did the road up there. Below it looks like a war zone. You know, a contract was awarded. The people of Kangemi want the bridge to cross over to the other side of, Loresho and Kibagare. There's a 3 billion pending bill there. So if you look at what we've, and I would be very happy to furnish the Senate with the details, coming to around 11.2 or so billion shillings to just sort out, the capital must look like the capital. We lost many trees during construction of the expressway. We used to have beautiful boulevards of Jacaranda. We want to restore those, and also walkways, non-motorized transport using high-performance concrete. So I'll be very happy to come to this committee or to the roads committee to express that the Senate must fight for counties. Counties don't want, that money is ring-fenced for infrastructure. If you allocate it politically through members of parliament, you will never sort out linkages between constituencies, which is the matter that we're dealing with. So finally, we're checking. We have the contact persons in Majengo. I spoke to the member of parliament, Honorable Yusuf, the area MCA, Honorable Irungu. We are working closely with them, with our disaster team. Because also what we do is post-disaster psychosocial support to the affected families. So I think.
Thank you, Governor. The question of the sewage and the bridges.
Yeah, the bridges we constructed, the ones which had been targeted during that last flooding, were 17 bridges. Mainly, the worst affected place was along Madare River, Huruma Hospital Ward, coming up to Mabatini, Ngumba Bridge. We did a bridge in Odhiro Rudhimitu. We did bridges in Kibra constituency, and so I can furnish the committee that list. At that point, there was no bridge targeted at Kitui village, but closer by there's a Kiambu bridge, the 2 bridges. One crosses over to KCC, another one crosses over to the other side of Mukuru. We raised the level of those bridges. They're higher because of the rising water level. Now what we're doing as well is, because the riparian was secured after that, unfortunately there was a silver lining, that 30 meters on both sides got secured. We are really pushing, of course, for the settlement and compensation, and prioritization of those affected, especially in Madare and Ruaraka constituency, but of course Mukuru as well, in the affordable housing. But the Greenway project that we're doing now with the Rivers Commission includes us as Nairobi County doing 54 kilometers of trunk sewers along the river, starting in Nairobi River, which is 27 kilometers. The kind of sewer, because a lot of what goes in is from connections of people who have nowhere else to connect their sewer. 1.8 by 2 meter diameter will last us another 40 years for the city. And so we're happy that we have that opportunity now to sort out a long problem. Remember, the challenge in the city comes from a colonial history. Nairobi is known as a land of rivers. Most cities, the frontage is the rivers. We have Nairobi River, Ngong, and Madare. But what happened?
Point of order, sir. Governor, because we don't want to take up the entire meeting with our issues that are outside the mandate of this committee. Perhaps just address the flowing sewage today. At that particular site, your people have been there at Kitui village. It is flowing into people's houses. I've seen it myself. You just direct your officers to be able to deal with that issue by today.
Yeah, I'll confirm that because I've not gotten that specific report. But what I was generally saying is that there's now been an injection of funds to Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company to sort out many of those problems of all infrastructure. If you look at, as I conclude, Nairobi, CBD, and Ngara, Pangani, Isili, the sewerage infrastructure for solid waste was set up pre-independence. It's very old infrastructure for a smaller population. We now have AFD Bank support. We have French Development Agency and Africa Development Bank sorting out the lateral connections to that trunk that I'm mentioning. So because there's also, a river passing there, they will be part of that program. I'll be happy again to furnish more details.
Okay, I think that's a matter that can be followed up maybe in a different forum.
Just a comment.